In this next video, we're going to dig deeper into cash management core configuration and finish up with an overview of something you can do in cash management called matching and creation rules. And this is going to also utilize the potential to do a bank feed in cash management. Now, these are areas that we will traditionally test further along in the process, closer to go live in the workflow training. So it isn't something we would recommend trying to configure and set up at the early stages of deployment, but just be aware that it's there and it's inside the system in cash management that you can utilize down the road. So in order to fully utilize matching and creation rules, most customers would want to be activated in what's called bank feeds. So it is something that you get in the system and is included in cash management. You get 200 bank feeds. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the configuration of it, but we'll show you briefly over in Ask Richard where you can find more information on what you need to do to get that set up. But inside either your credit cards or your checking accounts, you have the ability to connect into a bank feed. So for example, in my checking account here in the ET checking, I do have bank feeds turned on here for this one, and you'll know because it has bank transactions listed here. It does require you enabling bank feeds, and once it's enabled, you will see a banking cloud tab here, and you'll be able to connect in and log in to your online banking account. Again, we've mentioned this before, it's very subjective. There is no guarantee that your bank is going to work with bank feeds. It's case by case, bank by bank, whether it connects or not. But in this case, I do have a demo bank connected here. And you can see here it's connected and the last bank feed was 514. I'm not sure if I have any data yet because I just did it, but you'll see that's connected. So the concept here is when you set up your bank account and you have bank feeds set up, you can actually set up what's called matching and creation rules. And you see in your bank account here, you'll have this applied rule set, which we'll get into later. So each bank that you want to have this connected to, you need to have an applied rule set connected to it here. And that tells the system every time transactions come in to go and look at transactions based on this criteria and see if you can match transactions to anything that you've already entered in Intacct. Or if there's any new transactions that have come in, what are the rules to allow you to create a general ledger transaction automatically so that you don't have to manually key it in. And what you'll be able to do here is in cash management at top level under setup, you're going to see reconciliation rules. And you'll have the ability to basically create matching and creation rules and then take all of those matching and creation rules and put them all together in one rule set. And then from there, you can apply the rule set to an individual bank. And basically, matching and creation rules look like this. Let's go in and see. We have some samples in here. So here's a simple matching rule that they have given you already. And this says if the date is the same and the document number is the same. So for example, this would be for AP checks and AP check numbers, and the amount is the same, reconcile. So at that point, if it comes in from the bank feed and it has check number, check date, and check amount that equal a transaction that's in Intacct, it's going to automatically match it up and clear it. So when you go to do your bank rec, that transaction has already been matched, and you will only see the transactions that are not matched yet. So it should help speed up your reconciliation process. And you can see in here, here's what a rule looks like. Usually you want to describe what the rule is, name it, and then you have the ability to filter. So, all right, let's filter on bank transactions and only grab things that are a document type equal to, and you can fill out that document type. So you can be specific on what you want to filter on. A lot of times people will use description. Bank transaction description contains, maybe it's a gas charge for a credit card, Exxon. And so if it contains this vendor, Exxon, you can apply this rule to it. Okay, so you'll get into that. We have some great videos in Ask Richard on how to build these in more detail. But in this case, we're not going to filter by anything. We're just going to look at every transaction. And down here, you apply the matching conditions. You say, if the posting date from the bank transaction equals the posting date from Intacct, and the document number and the amount equal, match them. Okay, so you're going to be able to apply all different types of conditions to this. In addition to that, you may have a creation rule. And for example, a creation rule may be, let's use the Exxon example. We'll say gas, Exxon gas charge. Okay, and I'm going to call it the same thing for now. We won't get fancy here. And I'm going to come in here to say is only do this rule where bank transactions has a description on it that contains ExxonMobil or something like that. And when that happens, we want to come over to here and create what's called a credit card transaction. And we're going to build a template. And the template defines what general ledger account it goes to. So you could have gas charges as a template if they all go to the same GL account. And you could say whenever this template is applied, I want it to go to, and I don't know what kind of, let's see if I have fuel. I got gas here. So let's say gas, a non-reimbursable or something like that. This expense account, I want it to go to this department. And that's about it. And you say save. And so what will happen here is it'll then create a transaction and match it at the same time. So it'll make your general ledger entry for you, so you don't have to go and physically manually do that. And then we'll say save. And the one thing you're going to need on any rule, you always need, in addition to a description, you always need a date in the filter. So what usually happens is you come into here and say posting date is greater than, and you do something like 01/01/2000. And you just basically, this will make every transaction eligible. And now it has a date in there and it'll let me save. Okay. So I have a creation rule, I have a match rule, and there's another one here too, but I'm just going to use these two. After you build out all your rules, and you can duplicate and edit, like I said, Ask Richard videos will go into more examples in this. We have to put it together in a rule set. And usually for your rule sets, you call it something like checking account or credit card rule. And we'll just call it checking rule. And it's going to be based on a bank or a credit card. This will be a bank one. And here you have the ability to select those rules we already set up, or you can add rules on the fly. I like to set them up ahead of time. So I'll come into here and say select rules, and I'll grab those two that I want to add. Add and close. Now I have two rules. You'll notice this isn't applied to any bank accounts yet. I'm going to hit save here. Okay, and now I have my rule set. And then the last thing I would do is go into my checking account that I want to use this rule on, which is this one here, ET checking, hit edit. And down here, you have applied rule set. And I'm going to grab that one, checking rule, off of that. So now as bank feeds come in, as transactions come in, it should automatically apply it to those. And I don't have any in there. Let's see. Oh, I do have some now. So I have no idea if I have any in the description here for Exxon, but you can see here, like if I picked one of these, like bank fee, or these aren't really good examples, but looks like bank fee's coming up a lot. So I probably want to have a bank fee rule and things like that. So it'll start applying these. And I don't think it did, but let's see if we have any matched here. Because I just turned this on. Okay. So now what happens is when you do your bank rack, you'll only have to clear those remaining ones. And so you want to get to that and build that out. So that's something that's in the system. Like I said, you're going to have the ability to do this in more detail down the road. There is another option if the bank feed doesn't work. You do have the ability to import files manually that will also apply to rule sets and stuff. So you can also import in, download from your bank manually and import it in. And again, to find these videos, go into your Ask Richard, which you can get into for free. And when you go into Ask Richard here, you can either type in bank feeds is a good one to type in, or matching rules will be another one. I'll show you that after. So this will go through and show you right out of the box the videos you need to establish and create your bank feeds. Again, the bank feeds we would recommend doing closer to go live. You won't want to do this yet. So there's a bunch of bank feed videos that come up down here, and you can watch those. And then also, if I want to talk about matching rules, you should get some more detailed instructions on here as well. As you go through deployment, you can jump back in here. And there's your matching rules. So please reach out and dig into Ask Richard on this. But again, at this time, it's just more important to give you a little bit of an overview, let you know it's in there. And at some point, in your workflow training, you'll go through and set some of these up as an example. Good luck. Thank you.